Hey guys, welcome back to Perfume Vegas. I'm Holly Golightly, your hostess with the mostest. And today I thought we could just chit chat. We could just talk. We could have conversation um, about life, about stuff in general. And also I'm going to talk about some perfume while I'm at it. So let's get started. It is so cold here. I'm in Las Vegas, of course. That's why my channel name is the way it is. And normally in the end of March, you'd be in the 70s, 80s almost. They're saying it's supposed to get up into the 80s next week, but it's like in the 50s and 60s right now. It is so cold. It's overcast. It's just ugly. And my partner and I were joking that the reason it's so cold in Las Vegas right now is because nothing's running. None of the casinos are like running their lights and, all that jazz. And there's not bodies crushed onto the strip reflecting heat into the atmosphere. Don't know if it's true. Feels like it could be true because it's super cold. So that's why I'm all cozied up, but still wanting to talk about spring summer perfumes. But yeah, speaking of like all this crazy stuff that's going on, I did want to kind of like, I don't really want to talk about like the COVID-19 virus or anything specifically related to that, but I did want to talk to you about like mental health and anxiety, because I struggle with my mental health. I am actually diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I have PTSD as well as general anxiety disorder, and OCD. So anxiety and OCD are comorbid with my bipolar and PTSD. But yeah, a lot of people are really struggling, especially with anxiety or fears right now. So what I wanted to say was that if you're there, if you are, having a hard time, my door is open to anyone to chat, to talk about what's going on, what their fears, their worries, things that they've been struggling with, because I have been there. I've actually been doing really well. My bipolar disorder has been under control with medication for over a year, and this particular time with these incidents, although I'm doing exactly what they say to do, I'm taking precautions, I'm social distancing, I'm staying in self-isolation, I'm not going out except for essentials. I've also been able to maintain a semblance of control over my anxiety and my fears, which is really good, because they usually tend to manifest through my manic episodes, which in circumstances like these would not be a good thing. It's awkward to talk about, and it's difficult to, just to say this or that about how I am mentally, but I also think it's important to have the discussions, because if people don't talk about it, it's never going to become less stigmatized. So if you do have things that you want to talk about, but you are worried about getting judged from friends or family, especially if you haven't told them about the way that you feel or maybe something that you're struggling with, please feel free anytime you need to. I'm more than willing to have a conversation about whatever anyone feels like that they're struggling with. It does not even have to be directly related or even related at all to the COVID-19 virus and the conditions that we're kind of living under right now. So to balance the scales with that weighty topic, the first fragrance I want to talk to you, these are all indie / one is niche. One is not available right now that you can get directly from the brand, but you might be able to get it through the Soapbox company. I'm not sure. I will check. But the first one that I want to talk about is House of Glory Splendiferous. This is their spring, and this is part of their spring collection that is going to be released next week, I believe. It's this coming up very soon. By the time this video goes up, it may be released already, and if so, I will link it. Splendiferous is super, super, I lost the lid. So Splendiferous is, this is an oil-based scent. House of Glory is making EDPs now, so I don't know if that will be available in an EDP. I actually have it in the announcement in the mailbox that's listed, but I feel like this is just going to be an oil format. It's really, really nice. It opens up with a really strong, fresh violet, rich, creamy, like sugary lemon cake. And then there's like some zest. And when it dries down violety, musky, and just a slight bit sweet. It's one of my, I would say that from the spring collection, it's one of my 2 top favorites. It looks like that. This is old packaging. The new packaging looks different. I would say that from House of Glory spring collection, this is one of my 2 top favorites. The other one is Milkmaid, which I don't own, but I want to pick up. But yeah, that collection is being released very soon. So I wanted to bring this out and talk about it a little bit, tell you a little bit about how it smells, so that if you have interest in trying something like this out for yourself, I've kind of addressed it. House of Glory is a great indie brand if you're not used to buying indies. They're a really easy indie brand to dip your toes into because their fragrances are fairly straightforward. Some indie brands can do fragrances that are like different, a little bit difficult to wear. House of Glory is not like that. As far as every scent that I've tried, even if I didn't enjoy the fragrance itself, it was not too weird or too unique or too out there for somebody to easily wear on a daily basis. And Splendiferous is no different. If you like violet fragrance, if you like a gourmand fragrance, this is perfect, especially for the spring and summer. It smells really good. So yeah, going back to the topic at hand, there's not really a whole lot else to say. I did have some videos up on my channel where I was talking about my personal mental health and mental health journey, and I don't believe that they're available anymore. I do think I made them private at some point, but I think I made them private at the point in time where I decided to focus my channel specifically on perfume as opposed to kind of all beauty related, as well as some like vlogging. So those, as far as I know, those are still private. They're not available to be seen, but I would be happy to make a mental health journey video. I'm always afraid that people are going to find it too contrived. Like they're going to be like, oh, you know, look at so-and-so talking about their mental health, blah, 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 but they've been fine for who knows how long on YouTube, on Instagram. We see them every day posting and it's fine. So is it all bullshit to get views or what? And sometimes maybe it is. I don't know. I can't judge other people's lives or the choices they make regarding their mental health. And I don't like to say it, but sometimes I feel like people do embellish, especially the more mild or commonplace forms of mental health issues such as anxiety or depression. I do sometimes feel like there are people who embellish those things for for views perhaps, or for the dramatic factor, or to give themselves something that makes them feel special. I remember being, in my preteens thinking like, oh my God, like I wish I was a manic depressive because that just seems like so cool. You're so emo. That was back when bipolar disorder was called manic depression. And then I did get diagnosed with bipolar disorder when I was 26. And so unfortunately, I did really good at manifesting that childhood dream. I'm sort of making light of the situation, but it is my own situation, so I feel like I'm fine to make light of it. But yeah, like I do wonder if I hadn't had a preconceived notion about how my mental health should be or would be, if things would have turned out the way they do. I 100% believe in manifestation, in psychic ability, in parallel universes, in worlds beyond worlds, life after death, reincarnation, all that stuff. Actually, my job is I am a psychic advisor, a spiritual advisor, depending on what time of day it is, where you're calling me at. And I've had a lot of people come up to me and ask me like, oh my God, like if you're psychic, how come you didn't see the coronavirus coming? And the thing is, like, don't say that to a psychic, because there are plenty of people who are psychic in the way that you think they are, which is kind of a BS way. But there are also plenty of people who do understand things in a different way than you do. And that doesn't mean that they're with special abilities. It just means that they have a different way of perceiving things. And for me, I perceive energy a certain way. And the way that I perceive energy, the way I perceive people's energy, allows me to understand things about them and their lives that they maybe struggle with understanding from their own perspective and need an outside opinion. And for me, when it came to 2020, there was a huge energy blip. And it didn't show up in my third eye. It didn't show up in my clairvision. It didn't show up in my clairaudience, or my clairsentience even, as a specific thing, a specific time, a specific day. It just showed up as a energy blip, almost like a black hole, where that it's there based on the events that surround it, but you can't really pinpoint exactly where it is because you cannot see it. And so that's really what this kind of looked like. And so I was able to be comfortable as things got worse and worse, knowing kind of already what we were in for. But a lot of my clients, they have struggled, and I do my best to assure them that this is a blip. It's literally not, there is more after this. It's not like there's this blip and then everything is dark afterwards. There is more. Okay. So, yeah, I got totally off topic of mental health, but, I do believe that part of the reason I do struggle with my mental health is because of the way that I see things and perceive things, and the way that I do understand things. It makes it easier sometimes, it makes it more difficult sometimes. But going on to say that, again, if you feel like you haven't been able to talk to anybody because you don't want to be judged unfairly, or you don't want to have to tell people how you've been feeling, you're more than welcome to just send me a message. All of my social media is down below. You can just send me a message on Instagram, send me an email. It does not matter. I will be happy day or night to, talk with you about anything. Next, Perfume to talk about. I do have Pyrotechnic from Darling Clandestine. And this is actually, again, I picked really wearable scents, and this is one of the more wearable scents from Darling Clandestine, especially, in her general catalog type of scent. I love this fragrance so much. She is not making the fragrances currently, but this may be available on Soapbox Company. I will look to see. And if it is, I'll link it. If not, occasionally that she will make fragrances available on her website, on her Etsy shop. And things may become available on Soapbox Company, especially going into summer. And this is more of a summery scent. Anyway, Pyrotechnic. This is a really beautiful fragrance. It's a cantaloupe fragrance. And I don't want to put it where the other one was, so I'm going to put it more on my wrist. I don't like to eat cantaloupe, but it's cantaloupe and it's mixed with some green notes and some spicy notes. It's like a spicy cantaloupe. If you put, you know how you put lime and chili powder on mango? This is like as if you did that with cantaloupe. This is kind of the scent that you would get, like that spicy tart cantaloupe. It's really, really good. It sounds weird when I say it. It's really good. It sounds weird. My lighting is so bad. It sounds weird when I, just say spicy tart cantaloupe, but it smells really fresh, but also it's a warm scent. It's not too fruity. So the spiciness of this is like if you live in a country where it's hot all the time, like on the equator, and so you eat spicy foods or you drink hot beverages, tea, etc., to sweat so that you can cool down. It's almost as if it works that way. The spiciness of the fragrance, when you wear it during summer, it helps you acclimate to the heat. I'm not sure that I'm really phrasing that right, but it's a really good scent, and I wish more people would try it, and I wish more people would like it, because I think it's from Darling Clandestine's catalog. I think it's really one of the most underrated. Moving on. Speaking of things that are not underrated, we're going back to Chit Chat again. Can we talk about Tiger King, please? Like, everyone's talking about it. I've not watched, and I don't know if I'm going to watch. I kind of want to just because he's ridiculous. But listen, here's the thing. I have supported Big Cat Rescue for years. I mean, at least 10 years. And I don't know Carole Baskin personally. Obviously, I don't live in Florida. I don't go to Florida often. I have not been there for decades. But that Big Cat Rescue does a lot of good. They do a lot of good for big cats. They do a lot of good for just the future of big cats in the trade in America, in roadside zoos, private ownership, that sort of thing. They do produce their financial documents. They're very transparent that way. I don't know what the whole thing is with I do know with the volunteers versus employees. I have never seen that as something that was done in a harmful way. From what I understand from the people that I've talked with that have volunteered for Big Cat Rescue or who have been employed by Big Cat Rescue, they're very good people to work for, and the volunteers all understood what they were getting into when they started. Now, I do believe that the documentary does display them, Big Cat Rescue, in a fairly negative light, and I don't think it's fair. Regardless of the situation with Carole Baskin and her personal situations, I don't think it's fair to shed a lot of negative light on Big Cat Rescue as an organization, because they have done so much good. They do rehabilitation and release programs. They have constantly been doing the best to keep their animals, the animals that have to stay in the rescue for their life, to keep them happy and healthy. The vets that they work with that volunteer their time, they knowingly volunteer their time. And so Tiger King, I feel like, from what I've seen comments made, that a lot of people who watched Tiger King don't actually know anything about the groups, not just the individual people, because individual people can operate under their own motivation and they don't necessarily disclaim that to the people that they're working with. But they didn't seem to, the people that watch Tiger King and criticize Carol Baskin Big Cat Rescue don't seem to have a lot of understanding of why and how the organization works. So if you've watched and you do feel that way, I do implore you to take some time to investigate the organization, Big Cat Rescue, a little bit more in depth. I don't really care personally what anyone has to say about Carol or what anyone has to say about the guy. That's not what I focus on. What I focus on is the organization and what they are doing to help keep big cats out of the hands of people who would use them for entertainment and profit in a way that is not environmentally sustainable. So that's my opinion on Tiger King. Okay, share with me your opinions down below, because I don't mind hearing dissenting opinions at all. But like I said, if you don't have a lot of understanding about the organization, just look into it first. As for, the people involved, please go right ahead. The next perfume I have is Atelier Cologne Orange Sanguine. I love this fragrance. I am not a big freshy. I like aquatic scents, and I like scents with bergamot. But like other citruses like orange, lemon, and lime especially, I don't love. Lemon's okay. Orange sometimes can be. I like blood orange. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Orange Sanguine, though, from Atelier is one of my favorites. I want to find something to spray it on, but I don't have anything, so I'm just gonna. It smells like the orange grove that my grandparents have in California, and it's not really an orange grove. It's just some orange trees outside their house, but it smells like the orange trees that my grandparents in California have. It's so good. And there's like a little bit of zestiness. There's like a greenness, a little bit of spiciness that keeps it from being just straight up fresh orange scent. And it just is lovely. It does not last very long on me. I will cop to that. It's not the longest lasting fragrance on me. Some of the Atelier colognes last quite a long time. Some of them don't. This is one that doesn't, unfortunately. But for spring and summer, for fresh citrus scent like Orange Sanguine, I don't think you can do much better. Okay, so do I have anything else that I want to chit-chat about with you today? It's noisy out there. So do I have anything else that I want to chit-chat with you about today? Ugh, the lighting is so bad. Sorry about that. I don't think so. I'm really excited because hopefully in the coming weeks and in the next 2 months, I'm going to have some exciting news. Well, the news is already, it's not news. But it will be it will be revealed. It will be shown. It will be shared. I can't quite do it yet because I'm just not comfortable with it yet. So hopefully we'll be soon. But by the end of May, there will definitely be a new edition, and I'm super excited. I'm so excited. And on that final note, I'm gonna go into the last fragrance, which is Alchemia County Fair. This I mentioned briefly when I was pulling it out for my spring fragrances, And this is just such a good fair scent. Okay, I think every indie brand for the most part, and some niche brands and some mainstream brands, do their own version of a fair scent. County Fair by Alchemia is one of my two favorites. The other one is by Solstice Scents, and I can't think of the name, but I love Solstice Scents. I'm a total fangirl. This one is just really good though. It's not too sweet. It's not too like caramely. It's not too much of like sugary scents. You get a strong buttery popcorn scent off the top, and then underneath it does smell like baked goods and desserts, like funnel cake, but you get more of like the cakey aspect or like the doughy aspect of it, like crisp sweet dough, as opposed to the powdery sugar aspect of it. It's really delicious. I used to layer this with Sandscape, which is also by Alchemia, and would get a really beautiful like sandy beachy fair scent. But even on its own, it's so good. It's on its own is probably the best way to wear it, but it really works to layer with other fragrances to change them so that you get that kind of like fun fair feeling with maybe an orange grove, or maybe with some cake. That would be really sweet. Maybe with some cantaloupe. Anyway, that was Alchemia County Fair. This should be available now as well. I'll link it down below because it is a spring summer fragrance in their catalog. If it's not available now, it will be available soonish, I hope. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble on. Please, if you feel like you would like to talk to somebody, especially somebody who has gone through struggles with anxiety, depression, and all of that, and you don't know where else to turn, please reach out to me. Again, all my information is listed below, and we can talk about anything that makes you comfortable to help you get through it. Otherwise, I'm sending out all of my love, and I wish you all the very best. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you on the next one. Bye. Bye. Okay, bye. All right, bye-bye. Just kidding. Bye. Bye. All right. Okay, bye now. Bye. Bye.